Here we are, B2 Audio in the house, and this has been an item that's been out for a while, the Riot61 component set, but this is the version 2, and we're going to tell you why. I'm Big Jeff from BigJeffAudio.com, also representing B2 Audio and B2 Audio USA. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and share this out. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching us on social media, follow them. Like us, it doesn't cost you a dime, but it helps us out, helps us do these videos, and also do a ton of giveaways. Right here, $159.95. Who said B2 Audio is too expensive? $159 for a component set.
For all that stuff?
That I'm telling you, the version 2 has some tweaks from the original. It's been around for years, and you're going to like it.
Yep, you are going to love it.
It's a 6.5-inch set, 100-watt speakers, silk dome tweeter. We got passive crossovers, grills. I mean, this thing is awesome. Frequency response 55 hertz to 25 kilohertz. I know I'm going fast, but this thing sounds awesome. And when we do these unboxings, you get to see it, possibly hear it, what you will, before you even buy it. Now, sensitivity is 94 dB, and the 6-inch driver has a 1-inch voice coil. Man, $159 for something of quality.
Can you believe it?
Now, let me explain to you. Every item I have tested and heard from B2 Audio has a different sound. It is European design. What does that mean? Well, for instance, they don't have mid-bass and mid-range. It is just called loudspeakers or full-range speakers because they play that. Big difference over in Europe compared to the USA. Then you talk about a component set that actually has a driver, a tweeter, and crossover. And the parts inside, Jay Home, big shout out. He's a designing fool that he has been in this industry for many years. So we open this box up. First thing, you get a pamphlet. And then I want you to take a look at that beautiful packaging. Yes. So sick. Foam on top. Even have covers for the drivers. Now, first thing you're going to notice on the version 2 compared to the older ones is this cone. Look at that. That is cool. I don't even know what it is. It's not even marble. I don't even know. It's just cool looking. B2 stamped in on the basket and butyl rubber surround. Man, it's just a nice looking speaker. We'll get a close up in a little bit. Then we pop out one of these tweeters here, which is a soft dome. And I love soft domes.
They are so soft.
Titanium has that ear piercing, kind of you make the face when you're eating something sour. And soft dome doesn't. I'm gonna tell you right now, soft dome just has a beautiful sound. And this isn't just SQ. I've already seen a couple customers put these in some bass head setups just because they're just great sounding and they scream. So if you have locations in your doors or your pillars, perfect.
Perfect. Everything's perfect.
Now, cool thing, and I'll give you some close-ups because it's hard to see here. It's weird, like the cone on the tweeter, it's soft dome, but it's concave the opposite way. It's really weird, but you're gonna take a look at that. And then we have a passive crossover, which looks like you have positive negative input, woofer, and mid and high. And then there is a switch in here, 12 dB and 10 dB, which I'm gonna guess is for the tweeter. What does that mean? Well, if you want more tweet or less, you can change that by flipping a switch. Okay, then you also have, so you can flush mount these, or you have a surface mount 90 degree. So if you have not in the pillar and you got to put it all the way up in the corner, you can. So that's real cool, multi-way. All right, let me pull the parts out. We're gonna get some close-ups of this. Man, it's just a nice set for under 200 bucks. Let me do this. I'm gonna turn on the Big Jeff cam.
Big Jeff cam
so we can get some close-ups here. So that is the Riot61. And you can see it's a nice crossover passive. So basically, when you put the tweeter and the driver to this, it will be a 4 ohm load. It's not too big. I don't think you'll have a problem putting it somewhere. Let me see how this pops off. This looks like you just have to put, yep, just push on it. So let's get the up close and personal cam. I love this camera. And what I'm talking about is right there. This switch right there will go positive, sorry, 2 dB. So I take it back. I couldn't read. Plus 2 dB or 0. So 0 would be kind of flat. And if you want more tweet, you just flip that. And you can see you have the tweeter, woofer, and your input. So this is a passive crossover network, which makes these two work very well together with just one input. Now, can you run this off a radio? Yeah, you could, but I wouldn't recommend it if you're doing an upgrade like that, especially with a passive crossover with capacitors and that. It will work, but for this thing to really open up, you got to give it some power. It doesn't need much power. 50 to 100 watts, this thing will scream. You're going to hear that later. All right, let's get the up close and personal. I want to show you what this tweeter looked like. You can see it's like concave, but yeah, you see that? That's kind of weird. I like this honeycomb. This is pretty simple. I just want to check something out on the lid here. Max power 200, RMS power 75, 4 ohm. Frequency response 55 hertz, 25 kilohertz, 1 inch. CCA copper. Oh, take it back. Even better. That is a Neo magnet. Now, anything Neo is more expensive. So again, at $159.95 for this, that's a great deal. Let's see here. Woofer. Let's take a look at that. I want you to get a close-up of this because it's just a cool pattern. Look at that, man. That just looks really cool. I don't even want to cover that. I just want that. That's a beautiful surround. You can see you got the B2 audio stamping on it. This is the Riot series. Really cool. Nice looking too. So what we're gonna do is I want to get this hooked up.
Hook it up!
And let's get some power through it because I've already heard this set and man, just B2 audio when I first got it in, everything I've hooked up has made me kind of go, okay, I wasn't expecting that. So let's see what the bass response is, and I won't even be putting an enclosure, and get that tweeter hooked up with this passive crossover with some power and see what happens. With movie magic, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So I got a couple things here. I got a piece of wire. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the tweeter directly in there so I don't have to make nothing. I have some alligator clips coming from an amplifier and we won't do that. So I'm just gonna make a piece of wire for this. So now, if you're not really a sound cue guy, why would you still want a component set? Well, component sets are cool because they're components. And when you have a coaxial, there's no way to change the imaging and staging. And you could do that by adjusting the tweeter location. So that you don't need to really be a SQ guy. You just gotta like music. And when in doubt, if you can do a component set, you should go with a component set for sure. So that's a big reason there. 2, these things get loud with a Neo tweeter soft dome, great sound. And you'd be really surprised the output of these things, which hard to tell on video, but we do the walk back and everything else so you get an idea. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a small jumper to go from the crossover to the driver, and I'm gonna take the tweeter directly into that. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's a mess out here. We're doing a bunch of testing today of different things. And wanted to get this out because I don't think B2 audio is expensive. The woofers and amps, or some of them, are up there, but the quality is incredible. Mids and highs really come down in price as it came back to USA, and I think that will get even more competitive, but you're paying for quality for sure. So on this crossover here, you have input, woofer, mid, and high. So I'm gonna just loosen up the woofer first. And like I said, this can go in the door, it can go in the kick, it can go in multiple spots for the crossover. Do you have to use the crossover? Well, I guess you could do your own like caps, but passive crossover with the coil in there really makes a difference. Well, anyway, on the back of here, we have our black, which is going to go to the ground side, which is usually the smaller terminal. And then our power is going to go there. Okay, so we have that set up. And then, like I said, for the tweeter, I'm just going to use this, being that this is going to be sold to somebody. I don't want to tear it up. So we have the high. Oop, gotta go backwards. All right. Now, people always ask, well, how do you know the positive negative on a tweeter? Well, tweeters really don't make that difference of being in phase and out of phase, but I would still make it consistent. Arn here has some writing. I normally go with the writing as my positive. So as long as you did both sides the same, you should be fine. And then the non-writing would be my negative. So I would follow that on both sides. So now I have my tweeter, and then I'm gonna pop this off to show you the difference between a plus dB and a negative dB. There we go, squeeze it enough to get it off. Okay, and then I'm just gonna use my alligator clips here for my positive and my negative. Okay, so we have a dual radio here. We're gonna turn on, make sure I got the volume down so we don't, yeah, that's why. Okay, so right now, technically I have a full range signal going into this, okay? So we're gonna, that thing is buzzing. Okay, so let me do this. I'm gonna disconnect that. Okay, so I take that back. That is not for the tweeter. I'm gonna say that is for the driver, which would give you a little bit more output. Real hard to hear on the camera, but there is a difference. Okay, you can hear this thing really jumping off. So to get rid of that vibration. Let's try another track. Just a clean sound out of this tweeter. I wish you could hear in person. But here's the kicker. There's a ton of vocal coming out of this. So that's the tweeter. So you can hear that tweeter work at that point. It's just so clean and crisp without the squint. Alright, so you can hear that tweeter. The vocals out of here are incredible. So, not just sound quality, this thing's got some volume to it. I'm talking pretty loud. And that thing is moving. A little bit too much. Yeah, that thing is moving. Look at that. Now, if I adjust the amp I'm using, that's just a clean, nice sound. So I will prop this up. We'll do a little walk behind. Turn on the big Jeff cam. Plus, this is not even in the door. There's a good amount of mid bass out of this already. Okay, it's hard to tell in the video, but I'm gonna tell you what. The mid bass out of this being free air, very rarely do I have to put a speaker on something. It's jumping. The soft dome tweeter just has an incredible smooth sound. And then having the crossover network, like I said, makes it pretty much easy. So again, you could run it off radio power, but I think if you're going to upgrade into a component set, I would definitely, unless you have like a strong factory setup, because a lot more and more, I'll take this back over here. Some of your factory cars now are coming with amplified systems, so that would be good. But I would definitely, there was an amp on it. That was maybe 50 watts at very most. It probably wouldn't even register all the time on the dyno. So you could double stick this, glue this on, hide it. I've seen people put these in bags and then hide them in a door because there's a lot of moisture in there. This isn't waterproof. This I wouldn't be worried about because that's a butyl rubber surround, and that's obviously glossy, it's coated, so I wouldn't really worry too much about it. It's just a beautiful sounding setup, and I think for that price, $159.95, there's a lot to compare out there, and I've heard a lot. It's a nice looking Neo soft dome tweeter with a beautiful driver from B2 Audio. Can never be too loud. So I'm Big Jeff from BigJeffAudio.com, also representing B2 Audio and B2AudioUSA.com. Check this out. We have them in stock. This is the version 2. And we've already sold a bunch of them with very good feedback. That's the second time I've heard it, and I really like the sound. I think, especially under a $200 range, it's a really good sounding speaker. You would like it too. So multiple applications. You can do this in, if you're doing an enclosure, say in your garage or your house, you could do it as a component set. In the vehicle, maybe a kick. 2 of these up front would be pretty intense. It's a 6-inch with a beautiful sounding tweeter. So this is the Riot61 from B2 Audio. Make sure you leave a comment. I know there's not much to do with these. I could have hooked up both, but it's not gonna make a difference on the video. I just wanted to show you how much output really had, and when it's amplified. And then let me know what you think. What do you think about the look, the new version 2 look? So the version 2 had a different basket. It had obviously a different cone, and he did tell me they did something with the tweeter, and I don't remember, but Neo tweeter, soft dome, really nice, really good on the ear. If you're an SPL head, is this like a loudspeaker? No, it's not intended for that, but it does get up and get down. So, hey, leave a comment, hit that like button, share this out. I'm Big Jeff from BigJeffAudio.com with another unboxing, Riot 61 2-way component set. I'll see you on the next one.